The Chief of Yourself interview with Marc Allen gave us a great example of universal law, taking a person from a life of no promise to a life most of us only imagine. In his book, The Greatest Secret of All, Simple Steps to Abundance, Fulfillment, and a Life Well Lived, he tells us how he did it, but also tells us what's really important in life. Marc Allen, our guest on Chief of Yourself.
The Greatest Secret of All offers some great lessons for us to learn, but your personal story is really a terrific turnaround. Although your resume up to the age of 30 doesn't show a whole lot of promise. You have no steady jobs, no money, you're a college dropout. But at age 30, things change for you in a very big way. Take us through that transition and what life was like as you approach 30 to the point where you go from Minus to Midas.
Midas, yes. Through my 20s, I had the opposite of the Midas touch. Everything I touched fell apart. I was born knowing something that has served me very well, and something I always encourage everyone to get, and that was I knew it was important to do what I love to do. I became an actor and a musician in my 20s, and loved it, but I was in a theater company, it fell apart, and then I got into another company, and that fell apart. Then I had a rock band for a while, and that fell apart. And I realized I had no idea how to be successful doing what I loved. And it was the day I turned 30 then that I put together several things I learned in my 20s that I'd never applied. I'd also, in my early 20s, had a back-to-the-land experiment I'd followed my girlfriend into. She was the adventurous one. I just tagged along. And I remembered something we did one night. In my early 20s, we were around a fire during this back-to-the-land experiment that only lasted 4 or 5 months. It was a disaster. But one night, this couple said, let's play this game we play at church camp. Let's imagine 5 years have passed and everything has gone as well as you could imagine. What would your life look like? Ooh. And we went around the fire. And I don't remember a word of what I said, so it obviously had no impact on my life whatsoever. But the day I turned 30, I remembered playing that little game, and I thought, this is a good thing to do. I should do this. But this time I took a sheet of paper and I did it in writing. That little exercise changed my life. I put ideal scene at the top in big letters, and I dared dream. And it takes courage. Because as soon as you dare dream, doubts and fears come up with great force.
That's your written plan for manifesting, basically?
Right. So I started with just daring to dream my ideal scene. 5 years had passed, I was 35. What did I want my life to look like? Much to my amazement, because I'd never had any interest in business, and I even had all these bad beliefs about money, and it's the root of all evil, and it would destroy my creativity. And through my 20s, I saw Brother, Sun, Sister, Moon, the film about St. Francis, 7 times, and I really wanted to be like St. Francis, have nothing to do with corrupt money. That's why I was such a poverty case. It dawned on me later on that St. Francis went to work and rebuilt churches. He went and literally went out in the country. There were these old, crumbling stone churches that had fallen into ruin, and he rebuilt them. He built a large nonprofit organization. I was building nothing. And that's why nothing was working. There was no income coming in. So I dared dream my ideal, and I had a publishing company publishing my books and my friends' books, and it's very successful, and it cruises along, and does my music too, and I have a big white house on a hill in this beautiful place I'd seen in Northern California. And then I added, even though doubts and fears were just overwhelming me, but I added what might be so far my unique contribution to humanity. When I dared dream my ideal scene, ideally, what kind of life do I want? I wrote, and I don't work too hard. I only work when I feel like it.
You describe yourself actually as lazy.
I am lazy, yes. I loved acting actors' hours and musicians' hours. You never did anything before 1 in the afternoon, 1 or 2.
So manifesting can be done without struggle or sweat. I mean, obviously.
Yep, I have built a multi-million-dollar company. I have never worked more than 20 to 30 hours a week, and I don't do mornings and I don't do Mondays at all. So by Tuesday afternoon, I come into this office. There's no place I'd rather be, and I work with energy and real joy. My goal for years has just been do what I love to do, and only do that. Do what's fun, even. Any project, if it quits being fun for any reason, I quit doing it. And that turns out to be a great guiding principle for our company. When projects are fun to do, then they do well. When they get bogged down for any reason, or the author starts getting weird, which has happened a few times over the years, not often, but sometimes we've had some authors that suddenly get real high maintenance, we call them, or start, getting hard to work with. Then we just drop the project.
Well, we all have our own ways of putting manifestation into words. Do you have a formula, a definition, a way to put this into wording that can actually be read or followed or even fill in the blanks?
Yeah. I have a very, very simple little process that I did the day I turned 30. First, write down your ideal scene. Imagine 5 years have passed, everything has gone as well as you could imagine. At least for me, that tricks you into really discovering what you want to do, and even your purpose in life is embedded in there. If you dare to really dream your ideal. Then what I did, I stared at that for a while and overcome with doubts and fears, but I put the doubts and fears aside. I said, I'm going to dream my ideal. Then I just took another sheet of paper and put goals at the top, and I made a list of goals. I'd never had a list of goals before. I'd never made it. I made a list of goals. Start a publishing company, start writing books, start recording your music, start learning about real estate. A whole lot of starts in there because I had nothing going on. I remember there were 12 goals. Then I stared at that for a while, and I took another sheet of paper, and at the top I put goals as affirmations. And I rewrote each goal as an affirmation, as if it is now coming into being. To this day, I carry around my list of goals as affirmations and refer to it often. And at the top, I have in big letters a phrase I got from Catherine Ponder, a Unity Church minister who wrote these books in the 70s. That I read one of her books, and all I remember is this one phrase. That's all I needed from her, was this one phrase. And I have it at the top of my list of goals as affirmations. It's in an easy and relaxed manner, in a healthy and positive way, in its own perfect time, for the highest good of all. And then I wrote every goal as an affirmation. I am now creating a successful publishing company.
So it's present tense.
In the present tense, yeah. In the way that your subconscious can believe it. At least that's what works for me. You can't say, I am now a millionaire if you're struggling to pay the rent. But you can say, what I started affirming at one point, I am now sensible and in control of my finances. I am creating total financial success. I started affirming that one as a poverty case, and my subconscious accepted that. I think this whole process works because our subconscious accepts every bit of programming we give to it. So when we're told as little kids, oh, it's so hard to succeed, and money doesn't grow on trees, and we accept all these limiting things. But if we start telling ourselves we're unlimited, we have great potential. In fact, we're all unique, creative geniuses. We're capable of living the life of our dreams in an easy and relaxed manner, in a healthy and positive way. I think the way the process works is our subconscious says yes to that thought, just as it said yes to, oh, it's so hard to succeed, so few people succeed.
The status of millionaire has been the target status of millions of people. Is millionaire a wise manifesting goal? Is that a good way to start out?
For some people, some people it's great because it's a very concrete number. You can say to your subconscious, I want $1 million in assets. I want to have that level of financial security. And your subconscious says yes and starts showing you how. But for a lot of people, it's not important. One of my books is called The Millionaire Course, and the first thing I said in it is, it's not important to be a millionaire. It's just a number, an arbitrary number. What's important is having the resources to do what you love to do. What do you want to do with your life? That's the important thing. Are you here to do something? Do you have a purpose in life? These are great questions to ask. In The Greatest Secret of All, I give my little system of manifestation in the first half. Then I go on to get to the more important stuff. But my little system of manifestation is simply 4 steps. I just wrote down my ideal scene. Then I wrote down that list of goals. Then I wrote a list of goals as affirmations. And then over the next few weeks and months, for every major goal, I wrote a 1-page plan on paper. Just 1 page. A very simple, short plan. To this day, for every major goal, I have a file folder, and I throw in all kinds of things there, but on top is my 1-page plan to achieve that goal.
The principles you lay out are, I guess we could say, simple but not easy. So many people have set out on a similar quest, and they've just come up empty. Where do you think they are missing the mark?
Yes, exactly. Simple but not easy. Yeah, these simple steps I took, write ideal scene, make a list of goals, goals as affirmation, then make your little 1-page plan. Very simple. It literally maybe took me 20 minutes of writing the day I was 30 to start those things, and then the plans were just, 5-10 minutes a day over the next few weeks, and as they emerged. The 2 essential things, as far as I see it, and as I get older, I do see it more and more simply. It's just make a clear goal and go for it, and then deal with those doubts and fears that arise. How do you deal with those? I fortunately wandered into a workshop when I was 28, led by a man named Ken Keyes Jr., who had written a book called Handbook to Higher Consciousness. He understood about beliefs, and we spent a whole afternoon on what he called the core belief process. And what he understood about our beliefs is they're not true in themselves. There's many other people that have very different beliefs than we do. These beliefs are not universally true. Whether life is a struggle or whether life is easy, or the beliefs aren't true in themselves, but they become true in our experience if we believe them. Mm-hmm. So he had this it's just a list of 8 questions we all went through, called the core belief process, that forced you to look at whatever problems you're confronting, then whatever you're telling yourself about those problems, how you feel about it, and then what's the worst thing that could happen in this situation, and then what's the best thing that could happen in this situation. Then you ask yourself, what's preventing yourself from realizing the best thing that could happen? And what pops up is your limiting or negative core belief. I remember doing it around money when it was really, when I hit my financial low, I realized I believed I was a fool with money. I was out of control. I was just an idiot. I couldn't handle money. That was my deep core belief. So, of course, I was a poverty case. Once you identify that belief so simply, it can be changed. And the way to change it is to affirm something that's exactly the opposite. So I literally affirmed, I am sensible and in control of my finances. I am creating total financial success in an easy and relaxed manner, in a healthy and positive way. I said that several hundred times over the next several months after I came up with it. I've probably said it several thousand times over the years, and it became true in my life. I just always love to end with encouraging everyone to go for your greatest dreams. You'll never regret it. You'll never